Day 217, living the dream. Trying to think of some new stuff to throw in at the beginning with the days. That's the one I thought up today, so why not try it out? Day rating was a 7, a bit of a relaxing day. Had the alarm go off around 6:30, just kind of turned it off. And I think got to bed later than I wanted to. And so I just wanted to sleep in until my body thought it was ready. Or Komomo woke me up, which she hasn't done in a long time, so I'm really happy with that. I'm glad she's not going crazy, even though I know she knows. Even though I know she's got to go outside. She's been really good. Good job, baby. Good job, baby. And then I thought about going for a run. I just my stomach was not unsettled, it was just not comfortable. I think it's just the protein from yesterday, the 2 burgers and sweet potato fries. Like, they were fantastic. I love those burgers and the fries for sure. Any fries. But I think that protein just, the beef sits in my stomach heavy. And so I never feel as comfortable running after I've had a lot of beef. And having the 2 burgers and telling myself to go for a 10-mile run, I was really iffy. I was like, wait, I got time. I'll get it out of my system. Eat a little bit lighter today. And go for a run in the evening. And so that's what I tried to do. I had a little protein shake. Had a banana. Had some mixed nuts. I keep wanting to say trail mix, but there's no chocolate in there. It's just macadamia, almond, cashew, Brazilian nut. Is there one more in there? But yeah. I should have ate a little bit more. I felt my energy get zapped a little bit. But I don't know. I just was being lazy today and just laid down and just, I think, recovered a bit mentally, physically. But I got the run in. Plan was to go at 5:30, and then I still felt like food in my stomach. I was trying to get it out, so it took a little while longer. I went around 5:50 by the time I think I got out the door. And felt okay. I noticed the first few miles were slow. It was like super slow, but I could feel that they were going slow, and it was taking a long time for them to warm up. And got to, let's see, 8:26 was the first one, 7:54 was the second, 7:49, 7:55. So after the 4th mile, I could kind of feel the legs kind of come back around. So when I got to 7:39 on the 5th, 7:28, and that kind of came back up from there. 7:42, 7:48, 7:50, 7:56, and that last one wasn't trudging along. I think that my energy, I could tell, was zapped, and I didn't hydrate well. I didn't eat well enough today to keep the nutrients going, and that 10-12 mile range is normally where I start feeling my body being taxed, and like, as far as how much nutrition I got, how many vitamins I'm getting in, how many calories I'm burning, how heavy is the food in my stomach, when was the last time I ate, how much did I eat, was it good, was it easy to digest, is it good? So that was the run. I'm glad I did 10. And the last about half mile I did the strides, so I didn't want to stop. I just accelerated, backed it off, accelerated, backed it off. So that could be why that last mile went up in 6 seconds from 7:50 to 7:56. But funny story, I went to the canal, went through the golf course, and I was crossing the road to get to the park. And I said, I'll cross the road. It's about a mile, 1.15 miles to get over there. I don't know. We'll just say a mile to stay even. It's 1 mile to get down to the other side, turn around, then we'll come back. And that'll put me right around 9. Then I'll add on 1 more when I come back. Just in case this food decides to make a comeback and not sit well. But that was the plan. And I crossed the street and I saw another runner. So I was heading north, and there was a runner heading east. And I was just a little bit in front of him, so I kind of waved at him. So I'll say maybe 10 yards-ish. And I didn't know if he was turning. I haven't seen him before. But he had a good pace. So I was like, hey, good job running. Keep it up. And I could hear something behind me. It wasn't a bike, because it was the footsteps. I was like, maybe he's just trying to lock on. So I tried to stay even. My natural reaction when I hear someone behind me is to pick up the pace. Unless I know someone, like a friend of a training partner's, saying, hey, let me pace off you. Which I have no problem with if they're just having trouble finding pace or they're struggling that day. It's nice and comforting to have that friend to help you out. You're like, I didn't sleep well. I'm a little tired, lethargic. My legs aren't cooperating, so can I pace off you? And yeah, sure, great. Just ask. And I thought this stranger was, this stranger sounds bad. This other runner was gonna come up behind me. He's like, hey, you got a good pace. You mind if I run with you? I'm like, yeah, great. Let's go. How far are you going down this way? He just sat behind me, and I could tell at one point he was only about 4 or 5 feet behind me. I couldn't hear him breathe or anything, but I could really hear his footsteps. And so we just went down to the next major cross street, and he kind of peeled off, followed the sidewalk, and I stayed on the canal, which I just prefer, being on the dirt running so many miles as opposed to especially an easy long run. But if I was going more for pace, something faster, I might stick on the pavement roads. And so he had stuck on the roads or pavement, and I could see him split off because I was going a little bit more to my left and he kind of banked to the right with almost more of a straight shot. And so I could see him. I could see him. I was like, oh, it's the same guy that I saw before. Which I expected, because there's not too many other people are going to try to keep up on that pace, which is not terribly fast, but you definitely will see those people coming, going that pace. You're like, oh, we're probably going the same distance, same pace. So again, I thought at some point in time you just pull up behind me. He's like, hey, can I run with you? Or just sit on my shoulder and say something. But he just tucked in behind me. And so I saw him. I was like, okay, whatever. I think he's going to keep going around the park. So I had turned around, and right then, as I was turning to my right, I could see him. And then he had turned because he had at the end of the road. I was like, oh, great. He's gonna get behind me again or get in front. But he should have gone in front because he had the shorter route. And so I intentionally picked it up to get in front of him. And then I could hear him again catch back up and sit behind me. And I let it be okay for like a minute. I was like, okay, he's really just trying to sit. And again, he didn't say like, hey, can I run with you? You got a good pace. I'm going your direction. Can we run together? Nothing like that, which I'm totally up for. It's always nice to have a running friend out there and make new friends, of course. And we're going for another minute after I felt him start drafting behind me, if you will. I feel like drafting's more of an aggressive pace or racing sense, and we weren't going that fast again. We weren't racing each other, but he locked into my pace and sat behind me, and I was like, okay, make sure you're comfortable. You got the race next week. You had a hard day yesterday. You had a little bit of a leg workout. Your leg's going to be a little tired, a little flat, which is fine. We're going to recover this next week, next 4 or 5 days. So we're going, and then my watch hits the mile mark, which I'm pretty sure was 4.5. It was right around that 5-6 mile mark. Oh, wait, no, probably 5. 6. Yeah. somewhere around there. Anyways, and so I do a casual look at it. I'm like, okay, here's my time, right? I'm like, now it's a good time to pick it up. And so I picked it up a little bit. I tried to pick it up at least 5 seconds, going for 10, 12. And I was really going to make this guy kind of see if he's going to hang on. And we got another 20, 30 seconds in. And all of a sudden I can just hear him go, oh, So it was kind of, I don't want to say funny, like I wasn't trying to break him. I just don't like leeches and just the way he sat without saying anything or didn't acknowledge that we were running together. I'd be more than happy if he would just come up my shoulder or maybe even like pass me for a sec and say, hey, I'll lead this to the next road or whatever. Fine, great. That's sharing the work. It's being a good other runner, but he had just stopped. Or he didn't stop, but he just sat behind me and then I made the move. It was a light move. I definitely could have thrown down more. And I was listening to my heart rate or my heartbeat, my breathing. Like, I'm still really in really good control. I'm just maybe out of that comfort zone for an easy run. Going for 10 miles than I would like to be right now. Again, I think they're a little bit tired from the hill workout yesterday. But I hear him I just broke him, so to speak. And he had just stopped and I didn't hear him again. And so I kept the pace. Like, yeah, you know what? I feel good now. I just almost needed that person to get me into that gear. I think it was almost like a race at that point where I was like, okay, we're not just easy running anymore. We're racing. Or we're racing each other. And so I just said, yeah, I can hold this pace. And I held it for about another mile. That was the 5-6 mile. And then I backed it off a little bit, which is fine. I think that's what they are, just like little leeches. And again, it's one thing if you're training together and your teammates and you're drafting and you're all trying to run the same time, you're taking turns. That's great. That's fine. That's good teamwork. But for someone just to sit there and literally be a leech and try to suck the life out of you, because for me, I hate people breathing behind me, especially if they're like really breathing like they're getting ready to pass out, kind of a thing, right? Like they're maxed out, they can't recover. It just starts getting into my head, like, am I breathing okay? Am I going fast enough? Am I going too fast? Should I back it off a little bit? Should I just let them go and then I can mentally recover? Which is something I've always battled with when running. If I don't know the people I'm racing with, it gets in my head, and I just need to pick it up and get away from them and find other runners that are breathing about the same level I am, or I just need to let them go because it's a mental thing for me. It's almost like a panic button, which I'm trying to work with because I know it's going to keep happening. It's just the way people are. Maybe it's some days you feel a little sick, some days you feel better. You're like, oh, I used to be able to run this and now I'm struggling. Whatever the reason is, those people always pop up, and every time I struggle with them. So today was kind of funny. I guess I didn't like the leeching from the running, but at the same time I needed him to help me pick up the pace in a weird way, just to help shake things out in my legs a little bit. So that was the run, then came back, had little chips and salsa, had some salmon with some pasta, put a little bit of that cauliflower, cilantro dressing on there. Not the best combo. I don't say they weren't bad separately, they didn't complement each other, but I just needed some more food. And then they added orange an hour and a half later, and then of course cut the hair. It looks a lot shorter, which is good. Took too long, and I think I need to trim it up a little bit more, but it'll do for now. It'll do. I'm tired. It's late. It's gonna be 1 o'clock. It's 12:59 with about 10 seconds left. So I'm gonna call it a night. I still need to read, but the push-ups are done. I'm gonna about 15 more of the pushing off push-ups. So, and they feel great. Getting better at it. Oh, but that's it. Call it a night. Run your life with health and happiness. Have a good night.